Golfers, today is a really important lesson. This is something that golfers get wrong all the time. Now, make sure it's not you, so listen up carefully. A couple of real important things coming up. So today we're looking at kind of pressure shift, weight shift, however you want to call it, and head movement. So whenever I do a video saying the head moves in the golf swing, I get lots of comments saying, well, every other golfer on YouTube is saying the head shouldn't move. Now, if I'm honest, I have a bit of tolerance in this. I'm happy for your head to stay what I would class as centered. I'm also happy with your head to move towards the trail side. Now, I probably don't want it to move any more than an inch to the trail side, but when we are shifting pressure, the head needs to move a little bit. If you can shift your pressure enough to create power and the head stays centered, I'm okay with that. But what is a big no-no is the head moving towards target in the backswing, because then what will happen in the downswing, it will work back. And that is the most inefficient way to swing or to create any kind of force or power. So what I would recommend is we want to shift our pressure towards our trail side within our parameters of control. Now that sounds lots of words for not a lot of substance. Let's go through that. So if I take my setup to this ball here and I put this alignment rod here inside my trail foot just slightly, that is my parameters of control. I don't want my weight to go to a point where it goes outside my feet. So when I'm swinging back, I want to create connection with my big toe in the ground on the backswing, so I never feel like the big toe is leaving the ground. That would mean that my weight is being on pressure, is being shifted too far outside an element of control. So what I want to do is be able to wind up, keep my big toe connection, and feel that my sternum, rib cage, rotate to the right hand side with my head subtly moving. Now if I draw a line in the middle of my head here at address, in the backswing, I'm happy if that line moves to my eye, to the corner of my eye. I would not want it necessarily to work past my head. That is the amount of shift I'm saying is good. I'm also, as I said, happy with it being centered, and as long as you can make an effort to shift the weight through very good pelvis movement and ribcage movement. Both are absolutely fine for me. Any movement this way, as I said, is no good. And if we end up moving so far that we move past that big toe connection with the ground, that also is no good for me. You can hit some good shots by moving loads, but you have to move back, and then it becomes a real timing issue. If you're the kind of guy that hits lots of heavy shots and thin shots, obviously if the head goes this way and you stay there and turn, you will make good contact, but you probably won't have a very good direction to your shots. Certainly the plane will end up becoming very much above plane on the way down, and you will wipe across the golf ball, but you will hit ball and turf. No doubt. You might hit too much turf, too deep a divot, and again, that's not so sweet either. So ideal world, if I'm taking my setup to a ball, keep my connection with my big toe to the ground, shift my rib cage across, let my head just move probably from the center of the ball as I'd look at it to the edge of the ball or fractionally behind it. That is great for me. Then in the downswing, I'm trying to feel that my head then would re-move back to where it came from, or a little bit further as I get closer to the golf ball. Then as I get to the golf ball, it can then move back to the original spot. I would not want the head ideally to be further to the right of the original spot at contact. I'd want it back to where it was. So some head movement to the right and some head movement back is all good. That creates that little bit of momentum. Again, a head that stays centered and moves ever so slightly forward is also okay. Too much more movement forward for me starts to give us issues again with our plane and our sequencing of how our torso works in the downswing. Let's have a little go at a shot. I'm just going to feel that I shift that pressure. You know, if I need to unweight that lead foot a little bit, feel that pressure shift, but the foot, the big toe, is not moving off the ground and keeping that connection. The head can just move slightly, and then I'm going to hit the golf ball. It's not swaying, it's just shifting pressure and allowing the head to have that functionality that makes you dynamic. That's the key. Just to be clear, once more, centered head is okay. Never let the head go left. Short irons in particular, center head is great, and less pressure shift because I'll give you really good contacts. As we go to longer clubs, slightly more pressure shift, slightly more head movement is what I'd recommend to make you successful and play great golf.